Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. The freedom of the press is so overwhelmingly precious that we should preserve it even if sometimes the press upsets us. It is amazing how many people who have had run-ins with the press have suddenly found that they think it should be more tightly regulated. The Daily Mail fascinatingly did a survey of their Lordship's House and discovered that over a third of those who voted to shackle the press had been embarrassed by the press. And may I therefore pay all the greater tribute to my right honourable friend, the member for Sutton Coldfield, for his impressive speech, because he has suffered at the hands of the press, but he recognises that the value of the free press is one of the great jewels in the crown of our constitutional settlement. But a jewel that has become tarnished because of actions taken by us. We have fallen in the rank of free nations over 4 years from 30th to 40th. We are now behind Trinidad and Tobago, but perhaps most insultingly, we are even below the French in freedom of the press. And the clauses before us today should fill us with shame because they go to the heart of what we should believe in terms of our liberties and our freedoms and the rule of law. New Clause 18 really wants to have double jeopardy. Why did Leveson 2 not go ahead in the first place? It didn't go ahead because there was a fear that trials could be made unfair by an inquiry going ahead at the same time. But those trials have now gone ahead, and juries have returned verdicts. And how interesting, what verdicts did they return? Not the ones the establishment expected. By and large, the journalists were found not guilty of misusing any public office, but the police who gave them information were found guilty. Now, wasn't that proper justice at work, that the receiving of information as a journalist is your job? The giving of information as a policeman is against the law. They have had justice, they have had the inquiry, they have been through the process. And now people want to put those found innocent through it again, call them in front of a tribunal, put them on oath, put them in the stocks, let them be quizzed and questioned and interrogated so that the freedom of the press can be undermined, can be pressurised by those who have sometimes had the sharp lash of the press's tongue against them. It reeks of self-interest. I won't, because time is so short.
Very rude, I'm not true.
But to move on to Clause 20. Clause 20, the Max Mosley Amendment. A man more cynical than I am might think that £540,000 donated to a certain political party might have had some influence in the desire to support Impress, in the desire to support the creation of a known racist, of a man who went on anti-Semitic rallies with his father, and a party suffering from accusations of anti-Semitism wishes to be in bed with a man who gave them £540,000 to pursue his cause, to make Impress the regulator of our free press in the pocket of one of the most disreputable figures in this nation. And Ipso has made leaps and bounds to ensure that it is a proper self-regulator. But Ipso is a self-regulator free from the taint of state approval, state authorisation, state regulation.
And
the freedoms, the liberties that we hold so dear should be preserved even when they are inconvenient to us. And my honourable friend next to me said that you may not have heard, he said in the irresponsibility. Yes, that was Baldwin's line. The press has the prerogative of the harlot, power without responsibility. That was his line. But frankly, I would rather have a free press in that condition than a government-approved, propagandised press that took away all our ancient liberties. These clauses must be wiped out, cut from the legislative book, and we must preserve our freedoms.